Lift the left leg up. Step it between your hands. Up onto your fingertips as you breathe in. Step forward and fold as you breathe out. Circle and sweep your arms wide and up. A lot of the classes that you might attend are what's called vinyasa yoga. Vinyasa, and sometimes you might hear it called a flow. The word vinyasa means to put in a special place, to put in a special way. And sort of what I think of is the heartbeat, we'll say, of a vinyasa class are the movements called the Surya Namaskar or the sun salutation. Now these are really, really special movements for a number of reasons. One of it is if you look at the word Surya, which means sun, Namaskar, you might think, oh, I've heard this. Yeah, namaste. So it means to bow down to. It means to give gratitude to the sun. We think of the earth as being our mother, and it's true. But without the backup of the sun, the earth would be bye-bye. So you will read an ancient text like this text called the Ramayana or this other text called the Mahabharata. And these are ancient texts. You'll read that these people went down to the water, and what did they do? Surya Namaskar. They began their days with some gratitude, with giving some thanks. And so at the end, well, I'm going to ask Susan to do the poses, not mechanically thinking, oh, Jimena said do this, but really with a heart full of gratitude. Because in the end, for me anyway, that's what these sequence of movements are all about. And that's why I love doing them. It's also to be noted that in this sequence of poses, well, you should always be breathing, but really to let your breath guide you. There are certain poses that instinctively, when I take my arms up, that feels like an inhalation. When I go down, that is exhalation. It is actually very intuitive. So let that happen for you. And if you find that you're holding your breath, just let it go. So the other thing that this is so wonderful, it is a full body warm-up. We reach up, which makes the side body long. We fold forward. We use strength of the legs. We put weight on our arms. We come maybe to our belly. We open our heart. If you have time for no other yoga, right? Doing several Surya Namaskars, several sun salutations to begin your day, get you up and going and ready for it, okay? So it's a bunch of movements. So we're going to take, and I love to do this stuff. I'm going to pick it apart first, and then we'll put it back together. So the first movement of Surya Namaskar is Tadasana. So Susan's going to come here. Now, Tadasana is called mountain pose, and it may look like nothing's going on, right? But stand like you would stand if you're waiting for the bus. Yeah, okay, that's not Tadasana. Right. Now, Tadasana, we like to begin with the feet. Tadasana can either be done with the big toes together, a little bit of space between the heels so that the outer edge of your feet are parallel to the outer edge of your mat. Or if that feels tricky to you, because I like this way because the muscles in your feet work more. But if your balance is a thing, you can keep your feet a little bit apart. Yeah. And that can be used wide if you have stability issues, if you have foot issues, right? You can keep it wide. Now, the feet are your base. And so the heels are down and the toes are nice and spread. And if this was your foot, you want to think about having the big toe mound down, the pinky toe mound down, and right at the center of your heel. So it's a triangle. Yeah, it's kind of a triangle with our feet. It's a triangle. So it's a good base. You really want to feel, when Susan and I put on our yoga pants today, we had to pull them up. Yeah. So you want to pull up your leg muscles. Yeah. And then there's this thing. Right? Then we wonder why when we're 50 years old, we have sore backs. Yeah. So what we need to do is, turn sideways so they can see. Yeah. So you want to think about sending your buttocks down and a little bit in and lifting up your low navel. Yeah. You don't want to go this, nor you want to do this. What we want to think about is having neutral. Yeah. Now, and I'm one of the people that do it. I'm a rib boinker. I walk around with my ribs sticking out because it's fun, right? And the reason we don't want you to do this, two reasons. One is it throws into your low back. The other is it's not setting up your body for the optimal way rather, for you to breathe. So we like to think, there's many different ways you can say this, is taking the bottom ribs have a relationship with the hip bones. It's almost like there's a little wire pulling them together. So one of my friends likes to say, when your bottom ribs are stacked over your hip bones, it makes this nice box and it makes your body good to breathe. Your collarbones are spread. Yeah. Your arms are actually very extending down, and the crown of your head is reaching up towards the sky. Tadasana. And it's nice to think of a mountain mountains are amazing. They stay there for many, many years. And the woman that this is named after, she stood in front of a cave waiting for the love of her life to see her. And she stood through the rain, through the snow, standing. So Tadasana is the first movement. Then we go to Urdhva Hastasana. When I hear the Urdhva, it means upward. So you sweep your arms up. Now this could be nothing, or it could be everything, because we really want to make length. Oh, I have to stand on my blocks to get the top of our arms. My teacher used to say it is the job of the arms to make the side body long. So go up, up, up. Urdhva Hastasana. So we've stood, we've gone up. Now we go down into Uttanasana, forward fold. Yeah. Now, you might be saying, Jamuna, Susan, that's nice. She can put her hands down to the ground. What is happening? Now, there's a lot of different options. If you can, yes, turning sideways. You can grab your opposite elbows. Yeah. You can let your head go down. You can, oh yes, ooh, blocks. You can put those blocks on low, medium, or high. You can use 2 blocks and let your head go down. If you do not have blocks at your disposal, you can take your hands to your shins. Yeah. Now, if you are a member of the Tight Hamstring Club, and there are many of you out there, you can bend your knees a little bit. Yeah. And still letting your head go down. Now, you want to, and actually want her to do a little bit more, bring your sitting bones, yes, right over your heels. Good. And release. What we're doing is releasing the spine, really release the back of your head. This is called Uttanasana, forward fold. Since your knees are bent, I'm going to have her roll up to standing. Good. Now, the reason, I just want to pause here, the reason I said grab your opposite elbows or the blocks is if your hands are not on something, your spine will never release. So if you're in the forward fold and you're like this, and your arms are not releasing, this is not helping you. Putting your hands on something gets that nice release. So if you don't have stuff, grab your opposite elbows or hands on your shins. Let me show you Ardha Uttanasana. When you hear the word Ardha, it means half, which we'll need at the end. So she's going to come into Tadasana. Let's just do the whole thing for a second. Tadasana. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. So she's going all the way down. Ardha, halfway up. Think of the letter L. Yeah. And so you see she's coming to the letter L. If you cannot do that, guess what? Your hands on your shins or your hands on your blocks or even your hands on your thighs, depending on your proportion. Yeah. I'm going to ask her to extend her neck a little bit more. So she's looking down. So see this nice long, she's like a table. I can have tea on Susan's back. All right, then back into Uttanasana. Now I'm going to show you a move we're going to do a little bit later. It's called a reverse swan dive. She's going to press her heels down, sweep her arms wide and come up. Pull her hands into her heart and then down by her side back to Tadasana. Okay, so here we've looked at Tadasana, Urdhva Hastasana, Uttanasana, Ardha Uttanasana. But we're not done. There's more. Okay, so we're going to come, and first we're going to look at lunges, just straight up. So we're going to come to our hands and knees. Let's step your right foot forward. So now there's a couple of different lunges out there in the world. For this one, I'm going to really concentrate on getting the knee over the ankle. Now, a knee joint is like a hinge. Unless, go ahead and go more forward so we're more on a crest. Yes. You will see sometimes teachers will instruct this. Now, this is fine and good and is not injurious because her back knee is down, right? Most times in yoga, we want that knee over the ankle, so pull back, yes. So it's a nice right ankle. We also want your shin to be tracking over your middle toe. So you'll see sometimes, and we'll show it on the other side, sometimes people's knees dip in and dip out. Be careful of your knees. The knee is a hinge. It's not meant to slide. And we've all heard about how skiers have accidents, right? It's the ACL. Pretty much everybody knows those 3 letters now. That's when you slip sideways. So she's going to come up to her fingertips. Yeah. She's going to tuck her back toe and lift up her back knee, coming into a nice lunge. Yeah. Collarbones nice and open. And again, if you feel that you can't get that nice open collarbone, it's harder to do, but you can always grab your blocks. Yeah. Instead of, show them a rounded spine. Instead of rounding, yeah. Ooh, no. Extend the spine. Good. And she'll put her back knee down and come back to her hands and knees. Good. Let's go the other side. Good. Tuck your back toe, lift your back knee. Yes. So now show them bad knee. So let the knee dip in. Like, oh no, that's bad because it's going sideways. So she's going to take it and she's going to really think about having the shin right over the middle of the toe. Her collarbones are nice and open spread. That is a lunge. Good. Now keep there and just put your back, come back to your hands and knees. Another move in Surya Namaskar is plank. Yep. And so a lot of times people say the top of a push-up position, and that is a good way to think about it. So your fingers are going to be wide and spread. Your shoulders will be over your wrists. The weight on your hands in yoga, when you're on your hands, you want your weight to be across your knuckles and in the webbing between your pointer finger and your thumb. We spend a lot of time like this on a computer, right? And so a lot of people have carpal tunnel syndrome out there, right? So your wrist, the heel of your hand, we'll say, is down, but you're not pressing into it. If you have wrist issues, you can always lower it out to your forearms, which makes it harder, actually, but it's good work. Or you could always roll up something to put a little bit underneath your wrist. So we're going to fingers nice and spread, shoulders over the wrists. She's going to let's step your left foot back first. Yes. Now, she's going to make sure that she keeps that connection we talked about in Tadasana, that the bottom ribs are staying in connection with the hip bones. And now she's going to extend the other leg back, coming into a plank. Yeah. And this pose that's what it is. It's a plank from her heels to the crown of her head, right? She's like, a pirate. I'm going to walk the plank, right? Or diving board. Good. Now, plank is an excellent measure of how to come into probably the most known pose in all of yoga, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So she's going to lift up her hips and press her thigh bones back. Yeah, so now we go from being a plank to being an upside down V. So we're still going to keep those hands, fingers spread, yeah, weight across the knuckles. Now I'm going to ask her to roll her outer arms out and pull her inner arms in. Outer arms out, inner arms in, yeah. She's going to lift up her hips and press her thigh bones back and take her chest towards her thigh bones. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Now, Susan, you can put your knees down for a second. So now you might say, Jamuna, my back is really rounded when I do that pose. Yeah. Or another thing you might say is, Jamuna, my shoulders don't feel so good in this pose. Okay, so here's the hack for that. With the shoulders, I'm going to have Susan turn her hands out. This is a good remedy if this feels too much. The other thing, I said it, but let me explain. When we're on our arms, so we can turn our arms out and turn our arms in. If you've seen the shoulder tutorial, you'll see that. So when we're on our arms in yoga, we want to think the upper arms are turning out and the lower arms are turning in. Right? It's also a good way, and I won't make her do it right now, but it's a good thing to think about that you had a strap or a belt or a scarf so that your outer arms are actually pulling in. And again, the weight is here. So first, let's look at the shoulder issue. So she's going to come to her hands and knees and turn your fingers out. Yeah. And then come into the plank. And then Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. For some people, this is going to feel a heck of a lot better. Still externally rotating the upper arms, internally, she's slipping a little bit, going down. Good. Now, turn your fingers back forward. Now, if your low spine is rounded, go ahead and round, yeah. So this is a lot of things. It could become emanating from your low back tightness or your hamstrings are tight. So a couple things we can do. She can bend her knees a lot and stick her butt up towards the sky. Yes. And you can stay with your knees bent because can you see the length? It is never about getting your heels down, people. Never, ever. Some people's heels go down, some people's don't. Good. Then the other thing you can do is straighten up your legs and first roll up to the balls of your toes and lift up. Feel like there's energy going up your body and your legs are going up and back. So you can even keep your heels up sometime because can you see the length? And after a while, you think up and then you can press your heels down and back. See, her heels are up. So there we go. She's a yoga teacher. Heels are up. Yay. So it can either go up or not. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Good. Go ahead and tap your knees down. So we've had Tadasana, Urdhva Hastasana, Uttanasana, lunge, Adho Mukha Svanasana, plank. But wait, there's more. All right. So at a certain point in the Surya Namaskar, you somehow get from plank to your belly. How'd that happen? So there's a lot of different ways, and we're going to walk you through all of them. This movement is very important to know where you are with this. I know that you might go into yoga class and see people doing the final movement we're going to do and think, I'm going to do that. But like they say, don't try this at home. Do not do this until you're strong enough to do it. So we'll come to plank. So way one is she's going to keep that nice lift of the belly. This is important. And she's going to tap her knees down. She's going to cross her ankles and bring her heels up to her butt. Ooh, nice crack in the knees. And what's different about this and a gym push-up, as she bends her elbows, she's going to send her elbows straight down and go all the way down, flatten herself up like a pancake, and release your hands down and come onto her belly. That's way one. Okay. So you can always put your knees down, lift up your feet. Okay. Way two. Back to plank. You can just put your knees down, lift the belly, and now she's going to flatten herself up. But as she lowers down, see how she's also go forward. She's going to lower and come forward. Let me get the blocks out of the way, and then flatten herself out like a pancake. Good. Way two. Come back up. Here's the one, and I have to say, I don't know why I don't like it personally for my own body, but this one's really good. Most people do like it. We call it knees, chest, chin. She's going to put her knees down. She's going to put her chest down. She's going to put her chin down. Here we go. She's sort of like a serpent. And then slide onto your belly. Okay? So those, we have three ways. Now we're going to stay in her belly for a second, because once you get to your belly, if you've taken either of these ways, here's what I would prescribe to do what we call a Bhujangasana, baby cobra. So let's look at the bottom. The tops of your feet are on the ground. Your feet are about hip distance width apart, but if you have low back issues, you would separate your feet. You want your thighs pressing into the ground. You want to press your pelvis to the ground. Your fingernails are in line with your collarbones. And you're going to press your pelvis to the ground. Take your inner shoulder blades towards your spine and lift your chest. Yeah. And what I like to do to make sure my back is working, I lift up my hands so that I lift up, but don't let the feet lift up. Lift, 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 and lower on down. Good. That's Bhujangasana, baby cobra. Yeah. So now let's look at way four of lowering down. It's called Chaturanga Dandasana. Chaturanga Dandasana. Yeah. And actually, I'm going to use a prop for Chaturanga. It's going to be a little low for her. Okay, so Chaturanga Dandasana is that going to be too low? Yeah, let's put something underneath it. Is its own pose, but oftentimes we don't stop there. It's a drive-through. But we want to think of it like it's its own pose. So you see, she's coming and she's doing the plank over it. Now, keeping her legs straight, she's going to bend her elbows straight back and then let this support her. This is Chaturanga. So we want the elbows going back, yeah? We want the collarbones wide, the toes are tucked, and the legs are lifted. So you can't do it quite enough. on this position, but you still want to keep that integration of the hip bones coming up towards the bottom ribs. This is chaturanga. This is a good way to practice the feeling. Good, and you can go ahead and push yourself back. Another way to do it is to lower down your pectoral muscles to the blocks. Yeah, so this is another way. Again, we don't have custom design props, so it might not be the best height for you. But she's going to start in the plank. She's going to bend her elbows back and lower until she's on. So this is the supported. So this is a good way. If you practice Iyengar style yoga, they make you take chaturanga from the ground up, which is very hard. So that's chaturanga. Now, traditionally, in a Surya Namaskar, you'll hear the teacher say, Chaturanga Dandasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, which means upward facing dog. So first, let's look at upward facing dog from the ground up, so you see what it is. The bottom is like our friend cobra. Yeah, but the hands are going to be further back, almost in line with the hips. Yeah, so it's harder coming from the ground up. So she's going to press her bottom body down and then lift herself up. So the thighs are up. Yes, she's wrapping her upper, she's got so much flexibility here. She's wrapping her upper arms back. And I like to, you know, that if it looks familiar, it's the Nike swish. This is what it is. This is the Nike swish. That's it. Yeah, good. And lower back down. Now let's practice the move. Let's show the move from Chaturanga Dandasana to Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. So here in Chaturanga, we lower Chaturanga. Here. Now watch. She comes forward and up to the Nike swish. Forward and up. Her thighs stay up. Yes. And then she lifts her hips up and go back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So pretty. Let's watch her do it again. Come forward into a plank. Chaturanga Dandasana. Forward and up. See the thighs stay up. And Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Now show falling out of the chaturanga. You should not do chaturanga if this happens. Come forward into a plank. And then you can't really hold, you sort of tumble down to the ground. Boom. Yeah, no. Yeah, because it's not just, well, I look clumsy in class. It's also, that is putting a lot of strain on your sweet little shoulders. We do not want that. Yeah. One more thing I want to show about that move. Come into plank one more time. So watch how far forward she's coming. So look at her tippy toes. She's coming forward and go forward and up. Yeah. So the movement of the pose is, it really is the Nike swish. And then up and over, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Now there's one more thing to stitch it together I want to show you. She's going to lift her right leg up into the sky and step it between her hands. Now she does this, but you might be again, Jamuna, when I try that, that's not happening. So step back to downward facing dog. You are allowed to take your hand and help your foot forward. You can put your back knee down and help your foot forward. You can do whatever you need to do to help your foot forward. So if your arms are short or you don't have the strength or the lift, do not think you can't do it. Just go ahead and take your hand and move your leg forward. Okay? Okay. So now that's all the parts. Now let's stitch it together. Surya Namaskar. So here we go. Tadasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, dive and fold, Uttanasana. She'll step her right leg back into a lunge, knee over the ankle, and we'll step back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, the upside down V. She'll come forward into a plank. You will either lower all the way down or Chaturanga Dandasana. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, breathing in. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, breathing out. Lift the right leg up towards the sky. Step or help it between your hands. Come up to the tips of your fingertips, and now you're going to step the back foot to meet the front foot back to Uttanasana. Circle and sweep your arms wide and up, Urdhva Hastasana, and we'll fold right back down, Uttanasana. Stepping the left leg back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Plank pose, rolling forward. Chaturanga Dandasana, keep the movement forward and up as you breathe in. And then lift your hips high and back as you breathe out. Lift the left leg up. Step it between your hands. Up onto your fingertips as you breathe in. Step forward and fold as you breathe out. Circle and sweep your arms wide and up. We're going to do it again, but we're going to lower a different way. Dive and fold Uttanasana, back down. Stepping the right leg back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing. Plank pose. This time we're going to lower knees, chest, chin. Slide down. Take a Bhujangasana, take that baby cobra, and then Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. You can swap that out, lifting the right leg up, stepping or helping it between your hands. Up on your fingertips. Keep stepping forward, Uttanasana. Circle and sweep your arms wide and up. Urdhva Hastasana, diving and folding, Uttanasana. The left leg will reach back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing. Plank pose, rolling forward. Knees, chest, chin to lower. Slide onto your belly. Lifting your chest as you breathe in. Reaching up and back as you breathe out. Sweep the left leg up. Step it between your hands. Up on your fingertips to breathe in. Step forward and fold as you breathe out. Circle and sweep your arms wide. Take your hands in prayer. Pull the prayer down into your heart. Arms down by your side, Tadasana. So that is Surya Namaskar. But like I said, that's the nuts and bolts, right? It's like, that's the plain cake. But we all know the best part of the cake is the frosting, right? So now we do the movements, and Susan will do the movements as an offering, right? Because that's when it gets good, right? This is offering of gratitude. She was just telling me this morning, she loves the summer. Right? The summer that gives you the sun. So the sun that gives you the summer. So we're just going to watch Susan do 2 of these Surya Namaskaras, right and left, as an offering. Here we go. Inhale. Urdhva. She's just going to do it. So that's Surya Namaskar, sun salutation. They're beautiful movements that warm up the body, but also such a wonderful way to give thanks to the sun. It is also a moving meditation, right? As meditation need not just be sitting, meditation absorbing in the mind. And if you really, as I can see it in Susan, as you're really moving and breathing, your mind begins to settle in these movements, and maybe it's bringing you to a calmer, more peaceful place. So thank you so much for watching. And as we say in yoga, namaste.